Hey there, YouTube. How's everybody doing out there today? I'll tell you, I've been eating a plant-based diet for close to 11 years now, and one of the biggest problems I've heard people express that they have is cravings. What do you do about the cravings? How do you get rid of the cravings? And today we're going to talk about how you deal with these cravings on a plant-based diet. Full disclosure, I'm going to be honest because it's kind of another area where I don't really have a lot of personal experience to come through. And I'm going to just tell you some truths today, some truths that I don't think a lot of people like to hear, because then it puts it on you to get rid of those cravings. I can't really, I tried to, because I thought about this video. I started thinking about this video yesterday, and I tried to think back. I tried to really think, because I didn't want to just, I don't like to exaggerate. I think all these people that do food videos and stuff tend to exaggerate and use hyperbole. I try not to do that. So I won't say never. There's probably something I'm forgetting, but I don't think I really ever dealt with cravings. And I think a big reason of that is it's going to be our whole journey. I don't like that word journey that much either, but our journey through life is going to be different in a lot of different ways. So for me, it had a lot to do with why I came to this lifestyle in the first place. And the reason why is, a lot of you, I've told you many times, is that I had led a really bad life health-wise. I mean, I was a drunk for 30 years, and I mean a real drinking, like just pouring huge amounts of booze down my throat. And the eating that came along with that. And I was 48 when I came to this lifestyle, and I was just like, I knew, because I was a drinker, I put it in drinking terms. I said, when you sit at that bar, the tab, you've always got to pay that tab. And I knew on my body, my health, I was going to have to pay that health tab at some point. So I almost got kind of desperate, and in 2012 I just started searching through stuff. So I knew why I came into this. There wasn't no half-assing it, or maybe this or that. I wanted to try to repair all the damage I had done to my body. I wanted to try to avoid, health issues down the road. And even more important on that is I don't have health insurance, so it's even more important for me to be focused on what I'm eating and not just throw it up in the air. Because cravings, here's the thing you don't like about cravings. There is no system. There are no tips. There's no weaning. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Okay, granted, and I have done videos in the past with tips, which is, like I say, kind of a misnomer. Yes, you can do things for general things. Like if you have cravings for just sweet in general, you can use things. Fruit has sweet in it. You got dates. You can use dates and cacao. You can make ice cream. Tons of possibilities. And for savory, salty, things like that, you can do little tips and tricks. But if it's for that one particular item, there's only one solution. And you just have to gut it out. You have to not put those things. Let's just say, we won't even say any particular food or thing. We'll just say whatever these 5 things, various cravings that people have, you don't introduce that in your mouth. Because I can't believe, when people think about cravings on here, they don't put, put 2 and 2 together. Has anybody out there, none of you people out there have ever stopped smoking before? Didn't you get those cravings? What do you do for those cravings? And if you're like myself and a lot of people included, what do you do after a while of not smoking? You say, okay, I want to quit smoking. I don't smoke for 2 weeks. I don't smoke for 3 weeks. Then all of a sudden I'm like, well, you know what? I've been 3 weeks and I'm out tonight, and you know what? I'm just going to have a cigarette or 2. I'll even put a limit. I used to do that on myself. I'm going to have 2 cigarettes tonight, and then I'll be done. And then you smoke those 2 cigarettes, and then that itch gets back into you. It's like you just, it's kind of like that heroin thing, and before you know it, you might smoke. You make a justification a few days later, like, okay, well, I can smoke this. I'll smoke one, and before long, repetitive, you get back, and that's because you introduce that substance, that thing that you have a craving for, back into your mouth. So the bottom line is, however you've got to do it. If you've got to, I don't know. You just have to keep that out of your mouth. And as I say, I do realize, I'm not saying this from up on high in some sort of judgmental way, because I understand that my last 10 years, 11 years is a lot different from a lot of people. I'm by myself. I do this thing solo. I don't get to meals and have to deal with somebody else. Well, what do you want? What do you want? Well, I don't want to eat this. Oh, you shouldn't be eating this. I don't have that internal dialogue. I don't mean internal. I don't have that dialogue within my households or any of the households I've lived in. I don't have anybody around that affect my food decisions. I don't have anybody around that I have to consult. Also, too, I don't have other people around that I'm preparing food for. So I get it. But, and this is where, like I say, it is what it is. You've just got to figure out a way not to put that food in your mouth. And listen, there's people out there constantly creating courses for you on how you can get here and there. But in the end, it depends on you. It's simple as this. I'm just using this for just as an illustration. This is actually catnip, but this is my craving. There is no other truth. There is no other science other than this thing cannot go into my body. If this thing goes into my body, it will initiate a want, a desire again, whether that's physical or whether that's in our head or whether that's whatever. As far as the whole cheese thing, everybody's always about the cheese, and it's got this chemical and it does the receptors in your brain. I was a huge cheese eater. I love cheese, but you know what? And in fact, right before I went vegan, I lived in San Jose, Costa Rica. I lived at downtown, and there were a lot of, you wouldn't think necessarily for Costa Rica, but there were a lot of little pizzerias downtown, and these little pizzerias where you would just go like order a slice and stand at the counter and eat. I used to do that every day before I became vegan. It was just easy in my walking around, go get a slice, maybe a soda or something. When I went vegan, I don't eat cheese anymore. There just was no, so that would have been the only one I could relate to, and there was just no, I would walk by, I would see a pizza before, I would still look at it and say, oh yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. I know that tastes really good, but it was not for my body. Point I'm getting at here is there are no little tricks or tips or anything of the sort. You've just really got to figure a way to keep the stuff out of your body. Now, if there may not be, like I say, there's not a lot of tips, but you can use other things. The closest thing I have to a tip is if you have something that you really think you have a craving with or you're really having a problem with, as soon as you start craving it, I would just without even trying to white knuckle it or hold off or say, I'll let this pass, go eat something else. Go eat something healthy. The second you have a craving for something that you know you don't want to eat, and that's up to you. I don't know. I'm not telling you don't eat. This is a bad craving. This is a bad craving. Whatever you don't want, then you go eat something that is healthy. Go eat a banana or go eat, whatever. Because a lot of times, like I say, if you just do that right in the moment, satisfy, it may not be satisfying a specific thing, but you're not hungry and you're not going to sit around just worrying about it all afternoon. But anyhow, that's about as simple as it gets right there. I've quit booze, I've quit cigarettes, and I did the same thing with both, always trying to taper and cut back and only do a little bit, and that little bit thing just never seemed to work out for me. But just my 2 cents worth. Hope y'all enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Have a beautiful weekend, and if I don't see you over the weekend, I'll see you here on Monday. Peace.